The question before us is, will a vindictive, vile villain violate voters' vision that basically says it all? Talking about stocks continuing to fall, another volatile session. Democrats have been talking about Elon Musk, and let me give you a news alert, we're not going to stop talking about him. We're going to keep talking about him until he's out of here, but this is very exciting to me. This is the automobile industry, and this will continue to spur growth like you haven't seen before. Remember when Trump promised his trade wars were easy to win? Well, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett certainly remembers, and her sharp critique of his business failures had Trump reacting in a way that only proved her point. If you've ever wondered how someone with multiple bankruptcies convinced people he's a business genius, this video is for you. I've analyzed Trump's economic plans for years, but Crockett's criticism adds something new, connecting his media-driven style of leadership to real financial consequences for everyday people. With Trump's tariffs threatening to increase prices on everything from beer to cars, this chaotic tariff policy is being presented as beneficial for American workers and communities. But Crockett's exposure of both him and Elon Musk couldn't have come at a worse time for them, or a better time for the public. Before we continue, a quick favor, if you appreciate this content, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs nothing, but it helps us a lot. Did you hit that subscribe button? Great, thank you. Now, back to the video. Did you know Trump's new tariff plan could make your next shopping trip much more expensive? Let's take a closer look. Trump's big idea to make America great again involves placing a 10% tax on nearly everything the US imports. And if other countries don't cooperate, he's threatening even higher retaliatory tariffs on nations like China and those in the European Union. Sounds tough and patriotic, until you actually need to buy things, breaking overnight. President Trump has enacted broad new tariffs on steel and aluminum, 25%. Europe is responding. Here's the issue. When companies have to pay more to import goods, they don't absorb the cost, they pass it on to consumers. It's like when your frugal friend orders the most expensive meal and then suggests splitting the bill evenly. Experts are calling it what it is, a hidden tax on regular Americans, disguised as economic strength. It's a start-stop approach with tit-for-tat retaliation involving U.S. allies, and behind the scenes, the panic is real. Corporate executives are reportedly so concerned, they're spending weekends, when they'd normally be relaxing, calling Trump to urge him to reconsider. Anthony Scaramucci, who briefly served as Trump's White House communications director, says CEOs are making worried calls to try and reason with the former president. When Scaramucci is the voice of economic caution, that's telling. Just look at what's set to get more expensive: avocados for your toast, maple syrup, ground beef, bananas. As basic groceries are going to cost more, and it doesn't stop there. Planning to buy a new car? Brands like BMW, Audi, Nissan, and Mazda could face a 25% tariff. Even American-owned Ford would be impacted. And don't forget construction materials, lumber, aluminum, and steel will also go up in price, making housing more expensive too. Strange plan, right? What's awkward is that even in areas with strong Trump support, people are getting uneasy. In Huntington Beach, California, residents are already preparing for the financial impact. One local, Danielle Calfo, said she and her husband are doing repairs now and buying in bulk before prices rise. Another resident, Mary, said she supports the tariffs even if prices rise, believing it will lead people to buy American-made goods. But she might not realize where most of her household items are actually made. Former Trump officials are warning this could trigger a recession. That's not great for someone who often boasts about his economic record. The University of Michigan found that consumer sentiment dropped 12% in March, 3 straight months of declining confidence. About 44% of people surveyed mentioned tariffs even when they weren't asked directly about them, like walking into a room where everyone's already talking about your bad idea. And it makes it harder for the US to negotiate trade deals with other countries. The stock market is acting like a nervous chihuahua, shaking and reacting wildly every time Trump brings up his tariff plans. That pretty much sums it up. Stocks continue to fall in another volatile session. It turns out that investors aren't fans of economic uncertainty. According to AP and ORC polling, only 4 in 10 Americans believe Trump's economic ideas make sense. Even some of his supporters are starting to feel uneasy about what this could mean for their finances. President Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports are now in place. How soon might this affect your finances? Michael Negrin from the Groundwork Collaborative warns that consumers could start seeing higher prices just weeks after these tariffs take effect. He described it as a supposed Liberation Day, but in reality, it's more like Inflation Day. Liberation from what, exactly? Your money? This inflation could persist throughout Trump's time in office, if re-elected, meaning years of paying more for nearly everything. Gene Husing, a Democrat from Huntington Beach, reflected what many Americans are thinking, that Trump mishandles everything he gets involved in. Given his business history, that's hard to argue against. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett linked Trump's economic ideas to his long record of business failures. She heavily criticized his business reputation, and her comments left a strong impression. Supporters of the MAGA movement remain loyal to Trump, doing whatever it takes to win his approval. While he portrays himself as a business expert capable of fixing the U.S. economy, Crockett countered that narrative in a detailed and critical way. Her remarks drew laughter as she listed his business failures like a surreal commercial: Trump University, Trump Vodka, Trump Steaks, all mentioned as examples. She especially emphasized the 6 bankruptcies Trump has gone through. Most people would avoid the spotlight after one, but Trump manages to spin them into signs of a comeback. It's like failing a driving test 6 times and then applying to be a NASCAR driver. The mention of Trump University was particularly notable. It ended in a $25 million fraud settlement. That's not just a failed business, it was found to have misled people. Despite this, Trump wants to be trusted with managing the world's largest economy. That's like hiring a chef with a history of food poisoning to cater your wedding. Crockett effectively described Trump's entire operation as focused on image rather than substance. She framed the issue as whether voters will fall for a style-over-substance figure who's more marketing than leadership. Her comment, comparing Trump's branding to empty flash, landed with the audience. She said it's as if the emperor isn't just without clothes, he's wearing bankruptcy papers as a disguise. The audience reacted with laughter and recognition as Crockett listed examples of Trump's upward failures. Her point was clear: he keeps presenting himself as a successful businessman, but the facts suggest otherwise. She argued that his business brand is more like a personal promotion scheme. What makes her critique so impactful is its timing. Trump's campaign depends heavily on the idea that he alone knows how to fix the economy. His policies, tariffs, tax proposals, are built on the assumption that he has economic expertise. But as Crockett pointed out, how can someone who couldn't sell steaks to Americans be trusted with national economic policy? It's like hiring someone who lost a goldfish to teach swimming lessons, instead of focusing on real economic solutions. Crockett said Trump continues to focus on grievances related to the 2020 election. Rather than telling the truth, she said, he pushes conspiracy theories. They are killing people, it's the same thing, no solutions, just complaints, while Americans worry about affording groceries and gas. Trump is busy complaining about an election he lost fair and square 2 years ago, like calling a plumber for your overflowing toilet, and they spend the whole time talking about a different toilet they fixed in 2020 that they're still upset about. The contrast Crockett drew between Trump's big talk and his actual record was so stark that clips of her speech quickly went viral. Social media lit up with people sharing the moment she listed his failures one by one. It's rare to see someone directly challenge Trump's carefully built image, especially with facts to back it up. For voters just tuning into the presidential race, this might be the first time they've heard someone break down Trump's business record with specific examples. We deserve better. We deserve a president who can be a bright light in a sea of darkness. Yes, Trump University was a fraud that cost him $25 million to settle. Yes, Trump Vodka failed. Yes, Trump Steaks disappeared quickly. Yes, he filed for bankruptcy 6 separate times. These aren't isolated events. They're part of a pattern that contradicts the image Trump has tried to create over decades. But after Crockett laid out Trump's business failures, she didn't stop. She turned her attention to Elon Musk. Musk often portrays himself as a free speech advocate, especially since buying Twitter and renaming it X. He says he's protecting free expression from censorship, but Crockett challenged that idea. This man defends free speech like some weirdly insecure sci-fi protagonist, she said. Then she pointed out the contradiction. Musk often blocks people who criticize him on his platform. The hypocrisy stood out. Free speech seems to mean only speech that praises him. People who question Tesla or Musk's business decisions often find their accounts gone. Crockett also mentioned Musk's promotion of Dogecoin, a meme-based cryptocurrency. He spent months promoting it on social media, encouraging people to invest. Then the value dropped, and regular investors lost money. While Musk wasn't affected, it followed a common pattern: build hype, let others take the risk, and come out ahead. She also pointed out that Musk now has access to sensitive government information, raising concerns given his business practices and behavior. He's literally sitting on top of our $6 trillion, she warned, pointing out the uncertainty around how Musk is using his power and influence. Crockett drew a connection between Trump and Musk, two wealthy individuals who say they're helping everyday Americans but whose actions often benefit the already rich. Like watching billionaires play Monopoly with real lives, the audience was visibly stunned. Criticizing Trump is common among Democrats, but criticizing Musk too, that's going after two powerful and thin-skinned figures at once. Crockett clearly isn't afraid. Her comments caused a stir. Trump ally Pam Bondi appeared on Fox's Sunday Morning Futures and warned Crockett to tread carefully regarding her remarks about Musk, especially related to Tesla protests. When powerful people start warning you, it usually means you've hit a nerve. But Crockett wasn't intimidated. She responded, saying she has never promoted violence. Then, in her usual direct style, she turned the focus back on Bondi. So Pam Bondi, if you have an issue